The NFL draft just happened this weekend. We obviously are fans of Oakland Raiders and the Atlanta Falcons. So,
rise up!
David, how did your team do in the 2018 NFL draft?
The Falcons, NFL.com's giving them a B+. I'm going to give them, I'm going to give them a B+. Calvin Ridley, I was super excited. I'm very excited for Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, and Mohamed Sanu to be in that receiver core. And then we got to steal the draft, in my opinion, Isaiah Oliver. Isaiah Oliver is very rangy, very lanky, and I think he has tremendous talent and potential as a cornerback. Deidrin Senat, the defensive lineman from USF, South Florida defensive tackle. That boy's he's a house. He's strong. He's a little short, but I think that'll help him with leverage inside. He's like a Grady Jarrett type player. And then we have our two young edge rushers in Tack McKinley and Vic Beasley coming on the side. I think they'll definitely help us out. Ito Smith was a kind of an interesting pick. Very fast, speedy back. My drawbacks from this draft for the Falcons, we didn't address the guard situation. Ben Garland, I think he's done a decent job in filling in at the guard position, but we really, this draft was so loaded with guards. I mean, we could have taken one, but I feel like jumping on Ridley is going to help us in our offense. And then I think Deidrin Senat, I don't know how he's going to fare the entire season. I have high hopes, but I feel like we could have gotten maybe like more of a premier talent.
Yeah, let's move on to the Raiders. Everyone's sort of been freaking out about this Colton Miller pick. Raiders had the number 10 pick, traded down to number 15. By moving down, they were able to acquire Martavis Bryant through a few other deals, which is an exciting pickup. Extremely talented, will add a huge deep threat. Also, he's big and tall, should help in the red zone. The only issue, sort of a character issues with the team. He wanted out of Pittsburgh, and he also only has 1 year left on his deal. So he could have a really good season and then leave, which would suck, but it's only a third-round pick. But let's stay with Colton Miller. The Denver Broncos, they drafted Bradley Chubb. They still have Von Miller. They still have Shane Ray. So you need to make sure your two tackle positions are solidified. Donald Penn, 35 years old, coming off foot surgery. So left tackle, sort of a question mark. Right tackle, been a question mark for the past few years. They got Colton Miller. Yeah, he's not maybe worth the pick at 15, but you got your value there. You got your right tackle position solidified this season. Maybe the left tackle, if Penn can't come back fully healthy, you can move Colton Miller over, but he was the best offensive tackle available at that time. You already moved down. So it's a good pick, not a great pick, but it makes sense. You needed that need filled, you needed the tackle position. But where the draft gets really exciting for the Raiders is later, right? I mean, it's high value, high risk, high reward picks later on. Arden Key, defensive end, LSU, number 87 overall. Going into the 2018 season, he was the number 1 rated prospect by CBS Sports. He then had a shoulder injury, picked up some weight, started slow into the season, but then did pick it back up. 3.5 sacks last 4 games of the season. Moving down, Nick Nelson, cornerback from Wisconsin, another solid pick. Is injured with a meniscus tear, but he's a nice guy, could play the slot day 1. Number 9th rated cornerback, Pro Football Focus.
Nice guy. I mean, would you let him take your daughter out to dinner?
What kind of fun question is that? So Nick Nelson, another great guy, but the highlight of the draft, Maurice Hurst, number 3 overall rated prospect out of any prospect by Pro Football Focus. Raiders got him at 140, so high value pick there. He has a heart condition. Only issue, Raiders checked it out. Hurst, all the doctors said he's good to go, should be ready to go day 1. But he also fills in a major need for the Oakland Raiders. They have not had an inside presence, an inside pass rusher that can create pressure up the middle. That's what you need to beat top quarterbacks, to beat Tom Brady, to free up Khalil Mack, to free up Bruce Irvin, Arden Key, Mario Edwards Jr., whoever. You now have that inside presence. Absolutely amazing pick. The Raiders also later in the day picked up fellow Tar Heel Ryan Switzer. They traded Jihad Ward. He was going to be cut anyways, so you got a very good slot receiver and a special teams player. So the Raiders, I really like the draft. It's high risk, high reward. There's a lot of things that could go wrong, but there's a hell of a lot that can go right, especially with those late picks. You have to be excited. The potential is through the roof. And those late picks is how you win Super Bowls. You get cheap guys, you get value guys where you don't have to pay them, and they have their rookie contract for 4 years. So
I think everyone's just like unnecessarily crapping themselves over the Raiders draft. I mean, NFL.com gave them a C, but honestly, they did well with what they could, and they made a lot of deep, solid outside moves. Ryan Switzer, a good slot receiver, and Martavis Bryant, as you said. So I think it's unnecessary. Colton Miller's definitely a project, but he has the potential. So I think, honestly, the Raiders didn't do a bad job with this draft.
No, obviously I completely agree. So let's move away from our own NFL teams, maybe away from the biases that we may or may not have,